I love democracy. I love the Republic.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them, and that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
So in the long-running battle amongst fans who just want good Star Wars without the sequel trilogy and the High Republic and Solo, etc., and fans that are, I don't even think are Star Wars fans, the debate about is George Lucas involved with any of this? And one of my subscribers said he had just gotten done seeing a video where Matthew Wood, who is the sound supervisor for Skywalker Sound, he also does the battle droid voice, basically said the opening sequence of this interview, and I'm gonna put it in a description on this video, and you better fucking watch it. I don't want anybody arguing with me anymore on this. When he starts out, he basically talked about how George how he wanted things to sound, how he wanted things to look. And he's not talking about the prequels. He's talking about Kenobi. Okay. And of course, in the mythology built up by, name the black pill channels out there that make money on lying to you about what's really going on behind the scenes at Lucasfilm. Contrary to what they've been saying, George Lucas was involved with Kenobi. Deborah Chow was in contact with him constantly, and he was the one that supervised basically the relationship between Kenobi and Anakin and made sure that the end fight did not break canon, and it doesn't. I think Deborah Chow and George depended on people actually being able to look at the subtext of the film and go back and watch the original trilogy. When I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am a master. Okay, that's the last fight. That's what we got in Kenobi. Anakin is still the Padawan. And if you watch the very end of Kenobi, he is the apprentice to Darth Sidious. He is not a master of anything. Ultimately, he is Sidious' slave, and he's still Kenobi's Padawan. Okay, this is Anakin's biggest issue. This is why he chased Kenobi all over the place and looked for him all over. It's because he wanted to prove he was better. That's it. It's pride and hubris on his part. And when you hear what Wood has to say about how they mixed the sounds for that last fight, how they mixed Vader's and Anakin's voice together, that's what you get. You get the sound of that pride and hubris coming out at the very end. Okay, this is what you've got to watch. Stop watching things for the surface. Start looking at the story that George was telling, because George was part of the script writing. He was part of all of it. And the more I look at it, the less I feel that Kennedy had anything to do with Kenobi. Okay, but I want to show you this part in the show to show you how powerful it was. So, despite the issues with Reva, and I'm going to be very honest, I wouldn't have minded the character so much if they had basically hired a better actress. That's it. I look at it as merit, not as skin tone. And to be honest, Moses Ingram is not a good actress, and that's it. That's why. Not because she's black, is she's not good enough for the role. And again, the whole story of how she was upset at what Vader had done to her friends makes sense to me. But let's talk about Vader. Anakin is not gone in Kenobi. He is still raising his head. He is still bitter about not being able to defeat Kenobi. He blames Kenobi for his fall to the dark side. He doesn't understand that he is the one who did it to himself. He is the one that made the poor choices. And that's one of the things that we have to remember.
Come to your senses! What do you think Padme would do were she in your position?
You turned her against me!
You have done that yourself.
And when you look at Kenobi and you see the things that really stood out as great moments in Star Wars, Kenobi walking down that sandy road with Leia and seeing Anakin in the distance, but it's not Anakin, it's Vader. Okay, see, the highlight of the show is the connection between Anakin, Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, all right? They have a relationship. It's Padawan and Master, though. Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Master was not the father figure that Anakin needed, and there was a vacuum, which was which was filled up sadly by Darth Sidious. And this is where Obi-Wan made his mistake, is not seeing that. But again, Sidious, being Sidious, was able to hide his true nature, and the Jedi didn't suspect him of anything until it was too late, until he revealed himself. And that's the core issue, though, of the Anakin Obi-Wan issue, is Anakin needed a father figure. Qui-Gon Jinn was killed, and Obi-Wan, not being that much older than Anakin actually, did the best he could to raise Anakin and to help him be the best Jedi he could be. The issue with all of this is that Anakin needed a father figure, all right? He didn't understand how to be disciplined. And Obi-Wan wasn't the master that he needed to understand discipline and to understand his own power and how to be disciplined in it. Anakin gave too much into his emotions, into the primal hatred of things, the fear of losing his mother, the fear of losing Padme, okay? Fear, in this instance, creates a Sith Lord, okay? And when you look at Darth Sidious and you look at his rise, if you've ever read the book, Darth Plagueis, you will see that Sidious was more angry towards his parents. When I read it, I thought, he's a bad seed. And yes, I believe in the bad seed. I really, really do. The world is full of people who came from decent families who just ended up piles of shit, okay? And Sidious, Palpatine, was, in my opinion, the bad seed. Anakin was not. How you get the chosen one, who basically it's alluded that to in the lore that the chosen one would be volatile, etc. How do you get the chosen one to fall to the dark side? You use fear. you use the anger, you use the outrage at being, at losing a mother, at losing a wife, at not being able to best somebody that you should be able to best, okay? And it's really interesting to me how George was able to come up with that. And then when you see the ending sequence, the ending fight, where basically at the end, Obi-Wan mocks him and says, "Goodbye, Darth." And which is why Obi-Wan in the OT, he calls him Darth. Just to piss him off and bait him. Okay, that because he knows Anakin. He knows those hair trigger emotions will come and basically just blow everything away. And he will become blinded to anything but his own rage. And that's how you defeat Anakin Skywalker. Obi-Wan knows he's going to follow him. Instead of doing what the head Inquisitor said, we need to follow those insurgents. And Vader said, no, we're going to follow that ship because Obi-Wan's on it. Okay. The Inquisitor is right. Okay. Again, you're dealing with someone with an immature view of the world and an immature way of looking at strategy. He's only thinking about defeating Obi-Wan Kenobi. He wants to get revenge for Padme turning against him and holding him back in the Jedi Order, etc., etc. That's why Vader does this. This is not Vader, by the way. This is Anakin, full-blown, angry, dark side Anakin, okay? Now, I've always thought, when I look at Anakin Skywalker, he is neither Sith Lord nor Jedi. If he is the chosen one, he almost can't be. So he's literally the last person who should be a Sith Lord or a Jedi. And here we are with him chasing Obi-Wan to that unnamed planet and then ending up, again, his hubris and pride blinds him to the fact Obi-Wan is a very strong Jedi in the Force. Okay, and that's what George wanted, and that's what we got in Kenobi. And in my opinion, this is some of the best Star Wars we've ever had since the original trilogy. Okay, I mean, it's up there with Revenge of the Sith. And it does not do anything to break canon. George wouldn't let them do that. And if you guys want to watch a really good video, watch the interview with Matthew Wood, and it's in the description of this video, because you're going to realize the people who are screaming how bad this was actually hate George Lucas. Okay? I really think that if they knew that George had been part of this, I think a lot of them would hate him more. It's just, look, I think there are a contingent of Star Wars, quote unquote, Star Wars fans on Black Pill channels that are not really Star Wars fans. When they talk about George Lucas, it's derogatory, it's condescending. When they talk about Harrison Ford, it's hateful. So watch this video and then realize the people screaming and yelling about Kenobi weren't doing it because they care about Star Wars. All right? Because they hate it. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.